All right, Title 29 CFR, Chapter 17, September or July 1st, 2009 edition, 1910 120, Hazardous Waste Operation Emergency Response, Scope Application Definition, Scope. This section covers the following operations if the operator can demonstrate that the operation does not involve the employee exposure of the reasonable possibility for the employee's exposure to safety, health, hazards, cleanup, and operations by government body, whether federal, state, local, other involving hazardous substances that are conducted by uncontrollable hazardous waste sites, including but not limited to the Environment Protection Agency, National Priority Site list of the NPL, or state priority site listing of the recommended of the EPN Environmental Protection Agency National Priority Site list, and initial investigation or government identified site for the conducting before presence of absence hazardous substance have been certain. Corrective actions involved in cleanup operations on sites covered with the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act of 1976 as amended, RCRA as amended in Title 42 U.S. Standard Code 6901, attempt sequence voluntary cleanup operation site recognized with the federal, state, local, other governmental bodies, uncontrolled hazardous waste sites, operation involving hazardous waste that are connected with the treatment, storage, and disposal of facilities regulated with the Title 40 CFR Part 264-265 of the Resource Control Recovery Act of the agencies under agreement with the United States Environmental Protection Agency implemented the Resource Recovery Control Recovery Act regulations, emergency response, operational release, substantial threats, hazardous substances without regard to location of hazard, application of requirements of Part 119 and Part 1910 and Part 1926 of the Title 29 Code of Federal Regulations apply to pursuant to them terms of the hazardous waste emergency response operation, whether they're covered by this section or not. If there's a conflict, overlap provisions more protective of employee safety, health, and shall apply with regard to the Title 29 CFR 1910-5C1 has the scope of the cleanup operation with the scope paragraph A11 and A13 sections must comply with the paragraphs of this section except for the paragraph P and Q. Operations, the scope of the paragraph A14 of this section must comply with only with requirements of paragraph P of this section. Alright, then notes and exemptions. And emergency response operations, release for the substantial threats, release hazardous substances but not covered in paragraph A11, A14 of the section must only comply with the requirements paragraph of the Q of this section. Definition: buddy system, meaning the system organizing employee with the work groups in such a manner that each employee with a work group is designated to be observed by at least one other employee in a work group. The purpose of the buddy system is to provide rapid assistance to the employees in the event of an emergency. Cleanup operation means an operation for the hazardous substance to remove that contain incarcerated, neutralized, stabilized, cleared up, or in any other manner process they handle with the ultimate goal of making the site safer to people for the environment. Decontamination means the removal of the hazardous substances from employees or their equipment to the extent necessary to preclude the occurrence of the foreseeable adverse health effects. Emergency response emergency response responding to emergencies means of response effort with the employees outside of the intermediate release after area other designated responders, mutual aid groups, local fire departments, etc. to an occurrence with the result likely to result in the uncontrolled release of the hazardous substance. Respond to incident release hazardous substance where the substance can be absorbed, neutralized, and otherwise controlled at time. Released by employee for the immediate release area with the maintenance of the personnel are not considered the emergency response within the scope of the standard responses to the release of the hazardous substance where there is no potential safety or health hazards. Fire explosion, chemical explosions are not considered to be emergency response. Facility facility means any of the building installation, equipment, the pipe of the pipeline, including any pipe into the sewer, publicly owned treatment works, well, pit, pond, lagoon, impoundment, ditch, storage container, motor vehicle, rolling stock, aircraft, or B, any site, anywhere where a hazardous substance has been deposited, stored, deposed, or of the place, or otherwise coming to become located, does not include with any of the consumer product, the consumer using any waterborne vessel, hazardous material or response, hazmat team that means any organized group of employees been designated by an employer who expected to perform work, handle, control actual potential leaks of spills or hazardous substances, requiring possible close approach to the substance. The team of the members perform a response relief the potential release of the hazardous substance for the control or stabilization of the incident. Hazmat team that is not a fire brigade nor a typical fire brigade. Hazmat team, however, may be separate component with the fire brigade and fire department. Hazardous substance meaning the substance designated with the list under paragraph A through D with the definition of exposure which result adverse effects on the health and the safety of the employees. Any substance for the 5 under section 101.14 of CERCLA. The biological agent of the disease causing agent with the after the relief of the environment upon exposure, ingestion, inhalation, assimilation into any other person, any other directly environmental, indirectly ingestion through food chains may be reasonably by anticipated cause of death or disease or behavioral abnormalities, cancer, or genetic mutilation, physiological malfunction, including malfunction in reproduction, physical deformation in such a person or their offspring, any substance listed in paragraph use Department of Transportation hazardous material or in Title 49 Code Regulation 172-101 and Appendix hazardous waste and herein defined. Hazardous waste means a waste, a combination of waste defined in Title 40 CFR 261.3 with those substances defined in hazardous waste Title 49 CFR 171A. Hazardous waste operation mean any operation conducted within the scope of the standard hazardous waste site and site being within any facility location within the scope of the standard at which the hazardous waste operation takes place. Health hazard means a chemical mixture of the chemicals of pathogen, which if it's statistically significant evidence based on at least one study conducted in accordance with the established scientific principle of the acute and chronic health hazard may occur with the exposed employee. The term health hazard includes the chemicals which are carcinogen, toxic, highly toxic agents, reproductive toxins, irritants, corrosive sensitizers, hepatotoxins, neurotoxins, neurotoxins, agents for the actions of hemopathologic system and agents for the damage of the lungs and skin, eyes, mucous membranes, and includes residue to temperature or saline. Further definition terms used above than found in Appendix A, Title 29 CFR 1910-1200. Alright, IDLH, immediate danger to life or health, meaning the atmospheric concentration, any of the toxic corrosive asphyxiation subject that pose to the immediate threat to the life which cause the irreversible delay of the adverse health effects would interfere with the individual's ability to escape the dangerous atmosphere. Oxygen deficiency, maybe the concentration of oxygen volume below what the atmosphere supply with the respiratory protection must provide its atmosphere with a percentage of the oxygen by volume is less than 19.5% oxygen. Permissible exposure limit, meaning the exposure inhalation permissible permissible exposure limit is specified in Title 29 CFR Part 19 subparts G and Z. Public exposure level to be the exposure limit published in the NIOSH recommendation occupational health standard of the date 1986, which is incorporated reference specified in 1910-6. If none specified by the exposure limit published in standards specified by the American Conference of Governmental Industrial Hygiene. Hygienists in their publication threshold limited value with a biological exposure index of 1987 and 1988, dated 1987, incorporated the reference and specified in 1910-6. Post-emergency response, meaning that the portion of the emergency response performed with immediate threat of the release for the stable life, the eliminated of the cleanup of the site with the begun with the post-emergency response performed with the employer's own and rental employees who were part of the initial emergency response, but considered to be part of the initial response, not post of the emergency response. However, if the group of the employer's owns employees separately with the group providing initial response performs the cleanup of the operation, and a separate group of the employees who considered to be performing post-emergency response subject to the performance paragraph QL of the section qualified person, meaning the person specified trained with the knowledge experience of the area with which the person has responsibility authority to control safety, health, supervisor or official, meaning the individual located with the hazardous waste site of the responsible employer has the authority knowledge necessary to implement the site safety health of the plan with very compliant with the applicable safety site health requirements. Small quantity generator, meaning that the generator has waste in any calendar month generates more than 1,000 kilograms or 2,205 pounds of hazardous waste in a month. Uncontrolled hazardous waste site, meaning that identified with the uncontrolled hazardous waste site by government body, whether federal, state, local, or otherwise, accumulating hazardous substance created with the threat of the human safety of the individual's environmental. Both of some sites are found on public land, such as the created with the further municipality, county, state landfills with the illegal, poorly managed waste disposal taking place with other sites found with the private property or other belonging to the generating form generated hazardous substance waste. For example, the such sites include, but not limited to, surface impoundment, landfills, dumps, tank or drum farms, nor normal operation TSD site that is not covered in the definition safety and health program note. Alright, general employers shall develop and implement a written safety health program for the employer that involved with the hazardous waste operation. The program shall be designed, identified, available with the control safety health hazard of the emergency response for the hazardous waste operation. Written safety health the program incorporated with the following: any organizational structure for the comprehensive work plan site with the specific safety health which not repeat with the employer's standing operating procedure required in paragraph B12F of this section. The safety and health of training program, medical surveillance program, employer standard operating procedure, the safety and health necessary to the interface between general programs. Activity site excavation. Site excavations are created during initial site preparation. During hazard waste operation shall be stored and sloped as an appropriate to prevent accidental collapse in accordance with the subpart P, Title 22, CFR Part 1, 1926. The contractor, subcontractor, employer retains the contractor, subcontractor, server that work with a hazard waste operation shall inform the contractor, subcontractor, or their representative of the state site emergency response procedure with any potential fire, explosion, health, safety, other hazardous waste operation that would have identified by the employer, includes those identified by the employer, information program and availability. The written safety health of the program shall be made available by any of the contractor, subcontractor, representative will involve the hazardous waste operation employed with the employee's designated representative of the OSHA personnel with the personnel of the federal, state, and local agency regulated authority over the site. Organizational structure part of the site program. Organizational structure part of the program shall estimate the specific chain of demand specifically the overall responsibility survivors employed. They shall include the minimum of the following elements: the general supervisory of the responsibility authority to direct all hazardous waste operation. A site and health supervisor who are responsible for the authority to develop and implement the safety, health, and plan with the very compliant to all other personal need of the hazard waste site operation, the emergency response, and the general function responsibility. Lines of authority, responsibility, communication, organizational structure shall be reviewed, updated with the necessary reflect with the current staff of the waste site operation. Comprehensive work plan part of the site program. Comprehensive work plan part of the program should address the tasks and objectives of the site operation with the logistic resource required to reach the objective. The comprehensive work plan shall address and anticipate cleanup activities by the normal operating procedure, but it need not to repeat the employer's procedure available elsewhere. The comprehensive work plan shall define work the task of the objective identified method of the accomplishing task. The objective of the comprehensive work plan shall establish the personal requirement of the implementing the plan. Comprehensive work plan shall provide the implementation training required in paragraph E of the section. Comprehensive work plan shall provide the implementation required with the information all the programs required paragraph 1 of the I of the section. The comprehensive work plan shall provide the implementation medical services program with the described in paragraph A of the section. Site specific safety health plan part of the program general. The site safety health plan much must kept on the site with the address for the safety health hazards of each phase of the site of the operation, including the requirements of the procedure for the employee protection element site and safety health plan. Minimum shall be the address for the following safety health risk of the hazards and else each site with the tab of the operation found in the work plan. Employee with the training assignment that ensure the compliance with the paragraph E of the section. Personal protective equipment that you with the employee with each of the sites after the operation being with the conduct is required personal property of the equipment program in paragraph G5 of the section. D. Medical services requirements in accordance with the paragraph of the part F of the section. Frequency, the type of the air monitoring, personal monitoring, environmental sampling, technique for the instrument to be including method of maintenance and calibration of the monitoring sampling equipment. D. The type of the F of the site control measurement in accordance with the type of the control program of the required in paragraph D of this section. G. Decontamination procedure with the corner of the paragraph of the A of the section. N. H. An emergency response. The meeting requirements of paragraph L of the section with the safe of the effect of the response of the emergency, include with the necessary personal protective equipment and other equipment confined spaces. Entry procedure. J. A spill containment program and meeting the requirements of paragraph J of the section. 3. Pre-entry briefing the site of the specifically safety health of the plan. Over the pre-entry briefing to be held with initiating any site with activity and any such other necessary to ensure the employees are prayed with the safety site safety health plan with the display with the being followed. Information data obtained with the site with the characteristics analyzed work required by C with the section shall be with the prepared update with the site safety health plan. Effectiveness of the site safety health plan inspection shall be conducted with the safety health supervisor in absence of the individual and other individual who is knowledgeable and occupational self to have the action on the behalf of the employer necessary to determine the effectiveness of safety site health plan and deficiency with the effectiveness of safety site with the health plan shall be correct with the employer site characterization analysis. General hazard waste site shall be evaluated in accordance with the paragraph that identifying specific site hazards to determine the appropriate of the safety and health control procedure with the need to protect with the employees from the identified hazard. Preliminary evaluation on site characteristics shall be performed prior to the site of the entry with a qualified person within order to aid with the solution of the appropriate of the employee protection method prior to the site of the entry immediately after initial site. Entry more detailed evaluation site-specific area shall be performed qualified person in order to further identify the existing site had further aid in selection with the appropriate engineering with the control prospect personal protective equipment for the task to be performed. Hazard also suspect the condition posed of the inhalation skip the absorption habit immediate with the dangerous life of the life and health or other conditions maybe the cover the death and serious harm shall be identified during the preliminary survey evaluated during delay with the display for the survey include but not limited to the confined space and potential exposure to the flammable situation, visible per clouds, the area of the biological indicator of the dead animal vegetation are located. The required information following information extended that able to show be obtained with the employer prior to allowing employees to enter the site location, approximate site of the site, the description of response activity, job test performed, duration plan with the employee activity, site of the topographic accessibility, air roads, safety, health hazards, expected site of the pathway of the hazard substance present staff of the capability of emergency response team that would provide assistance with the hazard waste cleanup inside of the employee at the time of the emergency hazard substance and the health of the hazards involved with expected the side of their chemical and physical properties, personal protective equipment. Personal protective equipment shall be provided with you during initial site entry and according with the following requirements based upon the result of the preliminary site and evaluation assembly. The personal protective equipment selected you during initial site entry, which will provide protection at the level of exposure below. Permissible exposure limited to published exposure level that is known with the suspect that it has the substance of the health hazards which provide the protection against other known suspected have identified during the preliminary site evaluation. If there is no permissible exposure limited with the published exposure level, the employer may use over the publishing study the information as a guide that is appropriate personal protective equipment. But positive pressure self-contained breathing apparatus not even as part of the entry at some as in respiratory protection is warranted with the potential have identified during the preliminary site evaluation and escape of the self-contained breathing apparatus facility. 5 minutes of duration should be the employees during the initial site of the preliminary of the site evaluation do not produce the sufficient information to identify the hazard suspected hazard site assembly with the providing protection equivalent level to be personal protective equipment shall be provided with the minimum protection directed breathing instrument shall be made with approximately the eating the industrial the immediate dangers to life and the health conditions such as appendix B the description level to be have the recommendation level to be protective equipment. Once for that, if the site with identified with the appropriate personal protective equipment shall be selected with the U in corner with the paragraph G of the section. Monitoring the following monitoring shall be conducted during initial entry with the site evaluation produced the information shall be the potential of the ionization, radiation, and immediate danger to life and the life and health conditions whether the site of the information not sufficient responsibly eliminate the conditions. Monitoring with the direct reading of the instrument has the level of the ionization records. Monitoring air and appropriate on the direct reading of the intestine equipment that combustible gas made with the detector in immediate danger to life and health of the other condition of the may cause the death and severe the harm of the combustible explode the atmosphere oxygen deficiency toxin substances. 3 visual preserving of the actual potential of immediate death danger to life and health of the other dangerous conditions. Ongoing with the mayor manner with according with the paragraph H with the section when they implemented after start with the area is determined the start with the safe at the start with the operation risk identification. Once the presence of the concentrations particularly as of the health of the average evidence step of the risk associated with the substance shall be identified. The employer will be working with inside with the informant any of the risk of identified with the situation covered in the hazard communication standard title 29 CFR 1910-1200 training required with the standard need not to be complete duplicated. And then show the night notes employ the notification information for the control of the chemical, physical, and toxicological properties of the substance known with the expect for the present of the site available to the employer with relevant duty with the employee expected to perform shall be made available to the effect of the employers prior to the commencement of their work activities. Employers may utilize the information developed as a communication standard for the purpose of the site with the control general appropriate site with the control pursuit with the shall be implemented the control employee with exposure to the hazardous substance before cleanup work begins. Site control program. Site control program protects the employees which is the employer site with the safety health. The program required with the paragraph B of this section shall be developed during planning stage with the hazardous way for the cleanup operation modify the necessary the new information as it becomes available. Elements of the site control. The site control program at the minimum include the APE site map of the site and work zone, the buddy system site communication, including alerting many with the emergency with the same of the operation, perceive the work practice identification near the medical assistance. Where these requirements are covered the elsewhere, where they need not to be repeated, training the general all employed with the work on site, such for the number of limited equipment operators, general labor, general that are exposed to the hazards of the health of the hazards of the safety of the other. They are supervised by the management responsibility with the shall receive the training meeting the requirements of the paragraph before they are permitted to engage with the hazardous waste operation and exposed with the hazardous substance safety health hazard and they shall receive the review training as specified in the paragraph. Employees shall not be permitted to participate and supervise with the health activities within training with the level required with the job function responsibility elements to be covered. The training shall thoroughly cover the following names of the responsibility safety health and health other hazards present on the side of the youth of protection personal protective equipment work practice with the employee with the main amount of the risk of the hazard safety youth engineering controls equipment of the type medical surveillance requirement including the recognition of symptoms sense for the may include indicate the exposure to have the content of the paragraph G through J site safety health plan with the set forth in paragraph B4.2 with the section initial training general site of the workers such for the employee operative general labor the supervisor personnel kids hazardous substance removal of the other activities with exposed potential exposure to workers to have the substance health hazards over the minimum of 40 hours with the instruction office with over the minimum of 3 days of actual field experience under the direct supervision and training experience supervisor work site on occasionally specified limited tasks given the job but not limited to the groundwater not monitoring land surveying with geophysical supervising with the unlikely the exposure of the permissible exposure to limited published exposure to limit shall receive the minimum of 24 hours with the instruction on the site 24 hours of instruction off the site with a minimum of 1 day with the actual field experience under the direct supervision of the training experience supervisor. Work regulatory of the site of the work area that have been mounted with the full character of the indicating exposure under the permissible exposure limited public experience limited to the respiratory condenser with the characterization indication with the no health hazard possibility of the emergency developing shall receive a minimum of the 24 hour of the restriction on instruction of the site of the minimum 1 day actual field experience with the direct supervision training for experience supervised with work 12 hours of the work covered in paragraph the E32, A33 section became the general site work required with the work where respirators shall have additional 16 hours due day of the training necessary to total training specified in E31. Management supervisor training on-site management supervisor director responsibility for who supervised the employee and gave the hazard waste option to receive the 40 hours of the initial training 3-day supervised field experience with the training may be reduced to 24 hours 1 day only if the one of the responsible employees covered in paragraph E32, E32, and E33 at least 8 additional hours of the specified training with the time of the job assignment with the topics with the non-limited employee safety with the health program and associated employee training, employee safety health program associated with the employee training program, personal protective equipment spill, contamination program, health habit, the monitoring procedure, detecting the qualification trainer shall be qualified instructor to employ with the subject matter at the beginning. When the present with the training with the training with the satisfactory complete with the training program, teaching with the subject with the expect with the teacher that shall have the academic credentials and instructional experience with the necessary for the teaching with the subject. Instructor shall demonstrate the component in competent instructional skills and knowledge with the applicable subject matter training and the certification. Employee with the supervisor will have the receiver successfully complete with the training in the field experience specified in paragraph E1 through E4 with the section shall certify with the instruction have the instructor trained with the supervisor having successfully complete with the necessary training written note of certification shall give them to each of the person so certified. Any person who has not certified who does not meet the requirements of paragraph E9 of the section shall be prohibited to engage in hazard waste operation. Emergency respond with employees to engage with the respondent of the hazard emergency situation and hazard waste cleanup site. The may explode for the hazardous substance shall be trained in how to respond to respective emergencies. Refresher training. Employees specified in paragraph E1 of the section manager supervisor specified in paragraph E4 of the section shall be receive the 8 hours of the refresher training annually items specified in the paragraph E2 through N or E4 of the section critique and incident to have the past year that is can serve the training employee with the related work or other relevant topics. Equivalent training employers who shall document with a certification employee with the work of the experience with the training with the result of the training. Equivalent training required with the paragraph E1 through E4 of the section shall not be required to provide initial training with the requirements for those paragraphs such for the employee with the shall provide a copy of the certification documentation employee with the file record site with the certified employee with equivalent training new site new to the site with the shall receive the appropriate site with the specific training before shall enter the appropriate supervised field experience with the new site with equivalent training include the academic training with the training existing with the employee that might have the authority to receive the actual as the way site work experience medical surveillance general employers engaged with the opportunity specified in the paragraph A1 1 through A14 with the section cannot cover the A23 with the exemption of the employers with the employees specified in the paragraph Q9 with shall institute the medical surveillance program in accordance with the paragraph. Employees cover the medical surveillance program shall institute with the employer with the following employees. All employees who are maybe exposed to hazardous substance health hazard above the permissible exposure limit. There is no permissible exposure limit above the published exposure level of the substance without regard to use the respirator for 30 days or more than a year. The employee with who wear the respirator for 30 days or more a year is required within 1910-134. All employees who are injured become able to develop and sign with the symptoms due to the impossible exposure for the involving hazardous substance health of the hazard emergency response to hazard waste operation. Remember the hazmat team with the frequency medical examination consultation medical examination consultation should be made available to employer of the employee covered with the paragraph the F2 of the section following schedule for employees covered during the paragraph the F2-1, F2-2, and F2-4 with prior assessment at least once every 12 months for each employee with covered unless the attendant physical physician longer interval and not greater than biannual is appropriate. Alright, see, termination of employment to reassignment with the with the employee would not be covered with the employee with a head on examination within at least 6 months. But as soon as possible, the notification employee the employee develops and sign with a symptom indicating possible overexposure that has something health hazard the employee has been injured or exposed above the possible permissible exposure limit published exposure level of the emergency situation. At more frequent time with the examined physician determines if they increase the frequency of the examination medical necessary. The employee with the covered with the paragraph F2 with the employer with include these employee with the covered paragraph A14 A15 that we made with the injury with the health of the impairment of design symptoms which when they have resolved the exposure that has substance resulting from the emergency incident with exposure during the emergency incident has substance concentration level of permissible exposure limited public exposure level without necessary possible personal protective equipment is being used as soon as possible following the emergency incident of the development system sign the system additional time within the exam from the physical determination following the examination consulting medical necessary content the medical examination consultant. The medical examination requirement paragraph F3 of the section shall include the medical work history, updated history with one of its own employees filed with a specified implement of the system related with the handling hazard substance for the health hazards of fitness duty, including the ability to wear the required personal protective equipment under conditions determined with the extreme that may be expected at the work site. The content of the medical examination made available to the employees pursuant to the paragraph F that should be determined by the attending physical physician guiding the occupational safety, health, and guidance. Manual of the hazard waste site activities of the appendix D with the reference time of the shall be consulted examination by a physician and cost. All medical examination procedures performed and under the supervision of a licensed physician performing one knowledge in occupational medicine shall be provided without cost to the employee without loss of pay at reasonable time. Place information provided with the physician and employee shall provide one copy of the same with the appendix for the attending with the physician in addition with each for the employee with the description, employee with the duties related with the employee's exposure, employee exposure level, the anticipated exposure level, the description, and person with the protective equipment used to be used, information for the previous medical examination of the employee which is not readily available, the examination of the physician, information required in 1910-134 physician written opinion of the employee shall obtain with the furniture for the employee with a copy of the written with the obtained with the attending physician containing the following: physical option with whether the employee to detect with the medical condition would work play with the employee with increase the risk of the material impairment of the employee with health of the work and hazardous waste operation emergency response or respiratory use. The physician recommended recommendation limitation upon the employee's assigned work. The result of the medical examination is required of the employee. The same with the employee that has been informed of the physician result of the medical examination. Medical examination with the required further examination treatment. The written opinion of the employer shall not be specific. Reveal specific findings, diagnosis unrelated to the occupational exposure. They read record keeping. Record of the medical surveillance required paragraph F of the section shall be retained. The record shall be retained with the period specified and meet with the title 29 CFR 1910-110-20. The record required paragraph F8-1 of the section shall include the release of the following information: the name of the Social Security number, the employee with the physical physician written operation recommended limitation result of the examination testing employee with the medical capacity related to the exposure has a substantive copy of the information provided by the examination prior to the employee with the exemption standard of the appendix. The engineering control of the work practice of the personal protective equipment and engineering employee protection. Engineering control of the work practice of the personal protective equipment. The combination of these implemented to the subject of the employee with the experience with the health and substance safety, health, the engineering control of the workspace for the personal protective equipment. The subpart G. The engineering control work practice shall be the institute reduce maintain the employee exposure below the permissible exposure to limited substance regulated within Title 29 CFR Part 19, the extent of the required subpart Z with except for the extent of the such controls practices that are not feasible. And then it shows the note: whenever the engineer controlled work path is not feasible and not required any reasonable control of the combination of engineering controls or work, prior to the personal protective equipment should be reviewed the maintain of the employees below the personal exposure to limited dose, limited substance required, regulated in Title 29 CFR Part 1910 subpart Z. Employers shall not implement the schedule of the employee rotation within me with the complying with the personal exposure level dose low, except that there is no other feasible to complying with the airborne and dermal dose limiting of the ionizing radiation. The provision of Title 29 CFR Part subpart G shall be allowable to the engineer control work practice of the personal protective equipment substance not regulated within subpart G and Z with the appropriate combination for the engineer control work practice of the personal protective equipment shall be reviewed to maintain employees exposure to the below published exposure level that has over the health but they are not regulated in Title 29 CFR Part 1910 subpart G and Z with the employer made the public literature material safety data sheets a guide to make it with the employer to determine what level of protection the employer believe it is appropriate with the hazard substance for the health of the pathogen with there is no permissible exposure limit to the personal public exposure limit. The personal protective equipment selection the equipment shall be selected with the protective of the potential hazard they are encountering to identify during the site characterization analysis. Alright, personal protective equipment selection shall be based on the evaluation and performance of the character of the personal protective equipment relative to the requirement of the limitation of the task specifically and the condition of the duration have the potential have the identified at the site position on positive the pressure self-contained the breathing apparatus the positive pressure airline respirator equipped with the air supply shall be the chemical exposure levels present degree of the substantial possibility of the immediate death of the immediate serious and injurious and impair the ability to escape. Alright, total encapsulation chemical protective tube with the protective equivalent in the level A protective is recommended in appendix A B shall be the condition with skin absorption of the hazardous substance may result with a substantial possibility immediately due to the immediate serious injury the injury impair the ability to escape. The level of protection provided by the personal protective equipment shall be increased the additional information outside of the condition they indicate that they agree with the protection necessary. They reduce the exposure, employ with exposure below the personal exposure limit, publishing exposure level that has substance to the health of the hazardous. See Appendix B with the guy with the selecting personal protective equipment and assemblies. Alright, 6. Personal protective equipment shall be selected with the meet with the requirements of Title 29 CFR Part 1910 with the parts of part additional requirements specified in the section. Total encapsulation chemical protective suit with the total encapsulation shall protect the employee with a particular habit identified during site with the characteristics and analysis of the total encapsulation suit with the capable of the air pressure of the appendix of the testament of the baby to evaluate the requirements. Our personal protective equipment written with the personal protective equipment, the program, the part of the employer safety health with the program requiring paragraph D with the section requiring the paragraph P1 of the section with which is off the product side of the specific safety health of the shop of the personal protective equipment. Program shall be drafted the elements lifted and below the elements shall be downing doofing procedure that are provided by manufacturer P for the equipment and attack for the plan with the need of the rewritten into the plan along with the adequately address the procedure. There are element personal protective equipment selected based on the type of the have the personal equipment that use and limitation of the equipment, work mission, duration, personal protective maintenance, and store of the personal decontamination, to store disposal. Personal equipment training and proper fitting of the personal equipment, the downing of dosing procedures, the personal equipment, the inspection procedure during and after the evaluation of effectiveness of the personal protective equipment program, limitation during the temperature of the extreme heat, travel, and other appropriate medical consideration monitoring. H. General monitoring that shall be performed according to this paragraph, whether there may be questionable employee with exposure that has the concentration that has and substance and ensure the proper selection, engineering control of the work practice, personal protective equipment, so the employee are not exposed to the level with the personal exposure level, the publishing exposure level that they no permissible exposure limits for the hazard substance. Air monitoring shall be with the identified quantify with the airborne level of hazard substance and safety of the health have in order to determine the appropriate level of the employee protection needed on site. Initial entry of the reps of the air monitoring shall be conducted to identify the intermediate and immediate danger to life and health conditions. Exposure, other permissible exposure, limited public exposure level, exposure over the radioactive material, the dose, limited other dangerous conditions, such as the presence of the flammable atmosphere, the oxygen deficiency, environmental periodic monitoring should dealt with the possible immediate dangers, life and condition flammable atmosphere to develop with the indication of the exposure risen over the permissible exposure. Limited public exposure levels of prior monitoring situation where there should be considered whether possible exposure to have the reason as well, but the work belongs to the different portion of the site of the contamination over the previously identified being handled with the different type of the operation is initiated on opening of the exploratory well drilling. While the employees are handling leak drum with the drug containment, the working in area of the obvious liquid contamination spill in lagoon, monitoring the high risk employees. After actual cleanup, the aim of the hazardous waste operation commenced for example, the soil of the surface of the well of the container are removed and disturbed. The employer shall monitor these of the employee with likely to have the highest exposure for the hazardous substance to the health hazard likely present above the permissible exposure limit. The public exposure level of the personal sampling frequently through the characterizing employee exposure. Are likely to have the highest exposure over their permissible exposure. Limits or public exposure limit is monitoring shall continue to determine employees likely to the above the limit. The employee may utilize the representative sampling of the approach for the documentation of the employee with the chemical choosing for the monitoring based on the criteria stated above. Alright, and then show the note of paragraph I does not require the monitoring employees engaged in site characterization operation covered in paragraph C of this section. Information programs employers shall develop implementation of the program part of the employer with the safety health program required in paragraph B of the section, informing the employer of the contract with the subcontract with the representative that actually gave the hazard wave of the operation nature or level of the nature and level of the degree of the exposure likely as a result of the participation such hazardous wave of the operation employed with the contractor the subcontractor working outside of the operation part of the site that is not covered by the stand with the handling the drum of the containment the general the hazardous of the containment of the liquids and other besides should be handled and transported to dispose within corners. Paragraph. Drums and contaminant during cleanup and shelving with the appropriate YOSH of the EPA regulation for the waste that they contain. When practical, the drum with the contaminant shall be inspected. Their integrity shall be ensured with the prior to being removed. During drum containment, the other cannot be inspected before being removed. The storage condition of the burning of the beneath the earth of the sack behind the other drum sack. Several tears higher and pile that shall be moved in an accessible location. They inspected prior to further. Handling unlabeled drums and containers shall be considered to contain hazardous substances handled accordingly until contents are positively identified and labeled. The site operation shall be organized, minimize the amount of the drum of the container, move the prior to the movement of the drum of the container. So all employees with the transfer operation shall be warned with the potential hazard associated with content of the drum of the container. You with the Department of Transportation specifies all of the drum of the container with a suitable quantity either proper absorbance shall be kept available, even in areas with spills and leak ruptures may occur when the major spills may occur with the spill contamination program, which is the part of the employer's safety, health, and program required in paragraph B of the section shall be implemented with the containing isolated the entire volume of the hazardous substance being transformed from the container with it cannot be removed without rupture, leak of the spill, but they must be emptied into the sock container, use the device of the unclassified with the material being transferred to the ground penetration system, the other type of detection system. The device shall be used with the estimated location in depth of the buried drum of the container, so the covered material shall be removed with the coffee to prevent drum of the container rupture of the fire extinguisher. For the may be the requirements of Title 29, Part 1910, subpart F to be on hand with the ready use of the control instant and fire with the opening the drum of the container with the following procedure that shall be filed within the air with the drum and the containers are being opened when the airline respirator shifted you with the connections over the air with the supply with the protective from the contamination of the entire system shall be protected from the physical damage. Employee with not actually involved with the opening drum of the container shall be kept within safe distance from the drum of the containers being opened. If the employee must work near the adjacent drum of the container being opened with a suitable shield that does not interfere with the work operation shall be played with between the employee and the to protect the employee in the case of the accidental explosion. The control of the drum of the container will open and equip the monitoring equipment of the fire suppression equipment that shall be located behind the explosion resistant barrier. When there is reasonable possible flammable atmosphere that being present with the material handling equipment, a hand tool should be tied with the prevent and source of the ignition. Drums of the container should be opened in such a manner that except for the interior, the pressure of the safely relieved of the pressure cannot be relieved with the remote location. Appropriate issue with the may be played between the employee and the drum of the container to reduce the risk of the employee injury. The employee shall not be staying upon the work of the drum of the container, material handling equipment. Material handling equipment used with the transport drum of the container shall be selected with the position operating with the minimize the control of the ignition related with the equipment and igniting vapors of the release of the ruptured drum of the containers. Radioactive waste. Drums and contained with the container of the radioactive waste shall not be handled until the such of the time of the habit of the employee with the properly set with the shock sensitive wave at the minimum of the following special proper cover should be taken with the drum of the container the subjected the containing shock sensitive mace or handled. Non-essential employee with the evacuated with the area of the train for the material the equipment will provide with explosive for the container the device for the protective shielding product equipment operators exploding container the employed alarm system capable of the perceived above the surrounding level of noise condition shall be used with a single commencement completion of the explosive wave to handle continuous communication. Portable radios, hands with a telephone with an appropriate shall be maintained with the employment of the media handling air with both inside of the safety with the health of the supervisor of the command post until the time of the handling operation complete with the command. Communication equipment with the method that cover the shock explosive with the method with the explosive they shall not be used with the drum to contain the young with the pressure for the evidence of the barrel bulging as well and they should not be maneuvered until the time to cover the excessive pressure with the determined appropriate contamination. Should have implemented the tactic of the employee with the explosive the relief of the drums contain the packet the laboratory waste shall be considered the containment the shock for the explosive the material until they have been characterized, causing shipping shocking sensitive wave that prohibit the U.S. Department of Transportation regulation employers and their shippers should refer to Title 49 CFR 173.21 and 173.50. Laboratory waste packs and different the requirements of paragraph J5 of the section of the following precautions should be taken as a minimum in handling laboratory waste pack within lab pack. The lab pack should be opened within necessary and then only with individual knowledge and inspection of the classification segregation of the container within package conform the weight head of the waste. Crystalline material that is known with any of the container of the content shall be handled with the wave that is used with the content of the identified sampling of the drum of the container with the sampling with the container of the drum shall be done and then conform with the sampling procedure which is part of the safety of the health plan developed for the available to the employee with the other specific work site. Shipping and transport drum of the container shall be identified with the classifier of the package with the ship of the drum of the container staging area with the cap of the minimum number of the necessary to identify with the classified material safety prepared with the transport staging area with the ship to provide with the adequate accuracy of the aggressive route. Hazardous waste shall be made only after the characterization of the materials having leave the tank of the wall, pursue the tank of the wall container the hazardous substance shall be handled in manner similar to the drum of the container take within the sterilization side of the tank of the wall. The appropriate tank of the wall entry procedure to describe the employee of the safety plan shall be filed with whether every employees must enter the tank of the wall. Alright, take K, decontamination. General procedure, all three with decontamination developed and implemented with the paragraph with this paragraph. 2. The decontamination procedure they 1. Decontamination procedure developed and communicated to employee with implemented before any of the employees may enter the area of the site where the potential for the exposures until the hazardous substance exists. Standard operating procedures shall be developed to minimize the employee contact with the hazardous substance within the equipment. If the contact hazardous substance, all employees leaving the contaminated area should appropriately of the decontaminated with all contaminated clothing equipment leaving the contaminated area should appropriately disposed of the decontamination procedure shall be mounted with the site safety health to provide the determine their effectiveness when the procedure found within effective the appropriate substance shall be taken with the to correct any deficiency. Location decontamination shall be performed geographical area with the minimum of the exposure for the uncontaminated employees. Equipment contaminated employees. Equipment installed with all equipment installed with the decontamination shall be decontaminated as well with the properly personal protective clothing. Personal protective clothing shall be decontaminated, cleaned, laundered, maintained, and replaced with its needed to maintain their effectiveness. Employees who with non-imperishable clothing become wet the hazardous substance shall be immediately removed the clothing on the producer. The shower of the clothing shall be disposed of decontaminated before the removal from the work zone. Unauthorized employees shall not remove the protective clothing and equipment for the changing room, commercial laundry, cleaning establishment, commercial laundry, the cleaning establishment for the decontamination. Protective equipment shall be informed of the potential for the hazard, harmful effect of the display for the hazardous substance. Shower within the change of the room for the decontamination procedure within the need of the regular shower within the change of the room's house to have the decontamination provided to meet with the time requirements of Title 29 CFR 1910-141 of the temperature conditions Remember the effective use of the water with the other effective use of the cleansing should be provided the use of the emergency response by employed with the uncontrolled hazardous waste type of the emergency response plan. Emergency response plan should be developed and implemented by all employees who the scope of the paragraph A1 through 1 2. With the section to handle the anticipated emergency prior to the commencement of the waste operation plan should be written with available inspection copies with the employee with the representative of the OSHA personnel with the other governmental agency relevant responsibility. Employers who will evacuate the employee with the danger area of the emergency occur but do not permit any of the other employees to specifically handle the emergency with the except for the requirements of the paragraph and with the provide emergency action plan complying with the Title 29 CFR 1910-38. Employee with the emergency response with the employer shall develop the emergency response plan for the emergency. They shall draft the minimum of the following pre-emergency plan with a personal role of the lines of the communication, emergency recognition, the prevention, safe distance, and place of the refugee, the site security control, evacuation routes, and perceive the decontamination procedure which are not covered in the site of the safety health plan. Emergency medical treatment, the first aid of the emergency, alerting of the response of the procedure, critique with the response, and then follow up with the personal protective equipment, emergency equipment, the procedure of the handling of emergency incident, with the addition of the elements of the emergency response plan with the required paragraph 1, 2 of the section with the following elements shall be included with the emergency response plan. A site topographically layout with the prevailing weather condition, proceed with the reported incident of the local, state, of the federal government agency, the emergency response plan shall separate the check and the health and plan with the emergency response plan shall be compatible with the integrate with the disaster five with the emergency response plan with the local, state, and federal agencies. Emergency response plan should be reviewed with the regularly as part of the overall training program for the site of the operation side of the emergency response plan. Should be reviewed periodically with the necessary amendment to keep it in current with the new or change the site with the conditions over the information and employee. An employee with the alarm system installed in accordance with the Title 29 CFR 1910-165 notify the employee with the emergency situation show over the work activities of the necessary low background note in order to speed communication in the beginning of emergency procedures. Based upon the information available at the time of the emergency, employee shall evaluate the incident the site of the responsibility, capability to receive the appropriate step to implement the site of the emergency response. Alright, the illumination areas accessible for the employee shall be left within the minimum illumination intensity listed in the following table H for the 121 while any of the work is processed. Table 121, minimum illumination intensity for the candles, and Table 121, H, minimum illumination intensity for candles. Sanitation temperature work with the portable water with the adequate supply of the portable water should be provided inside of the portable containers with the dispense for the drink of the water should be capable of being tightly closed. Equivalent with the tap of the water shall not be dipped from the container. Any container used for the distributed drinking water shall be clearly marked with the name of the content of the name used for any other purpose. When the single service is covered, to be used as ones for the air supply with the sanitary container with the unused cup of the receptacle with the disposing of the cup which shall be provided. Non-potable water. Outlets for the non-potable water shall be the water with the firefighting. Further shall be identified with the indicated clearly with the water is unsafe and not used with the drinking, wash, or cooking purposes. There shall be no cross-connection with the other potential between the system of the furnishable potable water and the system of furnishable non-potable water. Toilet facility. The toilet shall be provided with the employee with the corner of the following table H122. Number of employees 20 or fewer. 1 more than 20 or fewer to 200. 1 toilet seat. 1 urinal per 40 employees. Per more than 200. 1 toilet seat. 1 per 550 employees. Alright, under temporary field condition provision shall be made by the distributor at least one of the toilet facilities available to areas or waste site that not provide with the sanitary shoe, they provide with the following toilet with facilities unless prohibited by local codes. Chemical toilet, recirculating toilet, combustional toilets, the flush oil, the requirements of the paragraph of the sanitation facility shall not be ability to mobile crew with the habit of transportation readily available to hereby with the facility. Toilet facility. During doors entering the toilet facility should provide with the entrance lock with the control of the inside of the facility, food handling, food service facility operation, employee with meet with the applicable law of the ordinance of the regulation of the jurisdiction in which they are located. Temporarily sleeping quarters with the temporary sleeping quarters of the provide with the shall be heat with the ventilator, with the lighting, with the washing facility. The employer shall provide the adequate washing facility for the employees and gave the operation for the hazardous substance for the harmful to the employees as facility should be near the proximity of the worksite in the area of the exposure, the below the permissible exposure level, the publicity of the exposure levels, and which are the control over the employer shall be so over the equipped to enable the employer to remove the hazardous substances from themselves. Shower and change room with the hazardous way for the cleanup of the removal of the operation commenced with the on-site during the work over the required of the greater time when the complete of the employer shall provide the shower, the chamber, the roof, with all of the employees over the hazardous substances and health hazards involved with the hazardous waste of the cleanup of the removal operation. The shower and showers will be provided shall meet with the requirements of Title 29 CFR 1910-141D3. Chamber of the room with the shall be provided with the shoe the requirements of the Title 29 CFR 1910-141E. Change room shall be given to two separate chambers that is required with the separate with the showers required in paragraph N71 of the section on changing one changing area with the exit leading off the work site. They shall provide the employee with the clean air where they can remove the store with the put on street clothing. The second area that will exhibit the work site that shall provide employees with an area where they can put on and remove the store work over the clothing, personal protective equipment, shower, the chamber, the room with the located with the areas of the exposure, the below with the permissible exposure level, the below exposure level. If it cannot be accomplished, then the ventilation system shall provide with supply air that is below the permissible exposure limited in public exposure level. The employer shall be sure the employees shower at the end of their work shift and then leave it at the head of the waste site. New technology program. The employer shall develop and implement the procedure of the introduction of the effective new technology with equipment to develop and improve the protection of the employees working with the hazard waste cleanup of the operation. The same shall be implemented as part of the safety health operation program to ensure the employee protection is being maintained. New technologies, equipment, control measures available to the industry, the UV, the foam, and the absorbent and neutral with the other means that suppress the level of the air contaminants while the excavating and the stuff of the spill control shall be evaluated by the employer with the representative. The test of the evaluation to be done with the determined effectiveness of the new methods of the material equipment before implementing the UV the large scale of the enhancing employer with the protection with the information data with the manufacturer and supplier may be UV as part of the employer evaluation of the efforts such as the evaluation should be made available to OSHA upon request. Certain operation for the conduct under the Resource Conservation Recovery Act of 1976 for the employers conducting the operation of the treatment of the storage disposal facilities. The specified paragraph A14 of the section shall be provided to implement the program specified in this paragraph of the C note of the exemption paragraph of the A23 of the section for the employers not covered. The safety and health program of the employers shall be developed and implemented to have the written safety and health program for employees involved in the hazardous waste operation should be available. The inspection employee with the representative of the OSHA personnel of the program shall be designed to identify the evaluate control safety of the hazard in the facility with the purpose of the employee protection provide the emergency response meeting for requirements of paragraph B A with a section that directs the appropriate decided analysis of the engineering controls and the maximum exposure limit of the hazard of the waste handling procedure with the use of new technologies. Hazard communication program. The employer shall implement the hazard communication program. The requirement of the Title 29 CFR 1910. 1200 is part of the employer safety program. No, 1910-120 is exempt from the hazard waiver to provide the 1910-1200 is applicable to the section medical surveillance program. The employer shall develop and implement the medical surveillance program. Meet the requirements of paragraph F of the decontamination program. The implement shall develop and implement decontamination procedure to meet the requirements of paragraph K of the section. New technology program. The employer shall develop and implement procedure to meet the requirements of paragraph O of the section for the introduce the new and initiative of the equipment into the workplace and material handling program. The employees shall handle the drum the container. The employer should develop and proceed with the meet with the requirements of paragraph J1, 2, the 8 and 9, or 8 and 11, and 16 as well. The J3 and J8 of this section prior to starting such work. Our training program. The new employer for the employer shall develop and implement the training program, which is throughout the employer safety with the help program and exposure of the health they have with hazard with the jumping of what was TSD was TSD with the operation to enable the employee to perform the assignment of the duties of the function of the chief of the health they manner of the not in danger themselves or the other employees. Initial training shall be 24 hours. The refresher training shall be for 8 hours annually. Employees who have to receive the initial training require the paragraphs shall be written and the certificate attesting that they have definitely completed the necessary training. Current employee with employers who they shall employ with the previous work experience with the training with the employee they have been trained equivalent to the initial training requirement of the paragraph that shall be considered with the meet with the initial training requirement of the paragraph so that the employee with the equivalent training include with the training of the existing employee that might have the authority to receive from the actual work experience with the current employee shall receive the 8 hours of the refresher training annually. Alright, trainers who teach the initial training shall have satisfactory complete with the training course for the teaching and the subject for the expect for the teacher that shall have the academic credential instruction and experience necessary to demonstrate the good command with the subject matter over the course of the competent instructional skills. Emergency response program. The emergency response plan. The emergency response plan should be developed and implemented with all the employers plan. They need to do not duplicate the success. Subject to the fully address the employer with a contingency plan required with the permits for the issue with the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency provided with a contingency plan made part of the emergency response plan. The emergency response plan should be written report for the employer safety health program requiring paragraph P1 of the section. Employers who they evacuate with their employees from the worksite with the location where the emergency occurred, but they do not permit either of their employees to do assisted handling emergencies except with the requirements of the paragraph PA that provide the emergency action plan complying with the Title 29 CFR 191038. Elements of the emergency response plan. The employer shall develop an emergency response plan with emergency that shall address the minimum of the following area with the extent that they are not addressed in any of the specific program required in the paragraph. Emergency plan with a coordinated and outside parties, personal role of the lines of authority with the communication, emergency recognition, the prevention, safety, distance, play for the refuge side, the security control, the evacuation route, the procedure, the decontamination procedure, emergency medical treatment, the first aid of the emergency alertion of the response procedure, critical response and following follow-up, personal protective equipment, emergency equipment, the training with emergency response. The employees shall complete before and alcohol to perform real emergency. The training shall include the elements of the emergency response plan. Some of the operating procedure. The employer shall establish the job and then personal protective equipment to be worn with the procedure of the handling of the emergency incidents. Exemption: employer with the need not to train and employer with the degree specified with the employer to divide the work of the force area. They suffer the position number of the employees responsible for the control of the emergency. They have the training specified with all the other employees who may first respond with the emergency incidents. Have the position awareness of the training, the breakdown of the emergency response situation from the exhibit that they are instructed in case of the sum of the fully trained employee with not control activities from which they are not trained. Exemption 2: the employer do not train the employee with the degree specified with the arrangements that have been made with the outside of the fully trained emergency response team that respond with the responsible period. All of the employees who they become the incident of the first have had sufficient awareness training with the breakdown of the emergency response situation as they have been instructed in the designated outside fully trained with the emergency response team for assistance. B. Employee member of the TSD facility emergency response organization should be trained to the level of the competency recognition of the health and safety and to protect themselves or the other employee. That would include the training of the method of the minimum of the risk of safety, health, the safety, the view of the control equipment, the selection of the use of the appropriate personal protective equipment, the safety, the operation procedure, the use of the instrument, the receiving, the technique, the coordination with the other employee with the minimum of the risk of the appropriate response. The other exposure to the health they have the injury with themselves or the other employee with the recognition subsequent systems which may result in the overexposure. The employer shall certify the each of the covered employee with the attendance complete with the training with the required in paragraph P83 of the section that shall certify the employee's competency with at least yearly with the method of demonstrating the competency with the certification training shall be recorded and maintained by the employer. Procedure the handling of emergency incidents. In addition, for the elements of the emergency response plan required for the paragraph PA2 for the section following the elements should be included with the emergency response plan with the extent that they do not repeat any of the information already contained in the emergency response plan. Site topographically layouts over the prevailing weather conditions. Receive the reporting into the local and state government of the emergency response plan with the show compatible integrated with the disaster fire and emergency response plan with the local and the federal agency. Emergency response plan with the rehearsed regularly with the part of the overall training program of the site of the emergency response plan should be reviewed and periodically necessarily made with the site of the current with the new chain with the site of the conditions and information. Employee with the alarm system shall be according to Title 29 CFR 1910 165 with notify of the emergency situation. Shall stop the work activity and low background over the speed of the communication begin with the emergency procedure. Based upon the information available at the time of the emergency, employee shall evaluate the end of the site of the responsibility procedure. Proceed with the implemented site of emergency response. For the emergency response, they have the substance relief the paragraph of the employee of the job. The employee gave the emergency response, no matter what occurred, except it does not include the other employees engaged in operations specified in paragraph A14 with the section that was the emergency response organization that developed and implemented program. The equivalent paragraph of the handling relief that has substance pursuant section 303 of the Superfunded Amendments Reauthorization Pact with the Emergency Plan of the Community Right to Know Act of 1986 and Title 42 U.S. Standard Code 11003 shall be deemed to have the requirements of these paragraphs. Emergency response plan. Emergency response plan shall be developed and implemented at hand with the anticipated emergency prior with the commencement of the emergency response to operate for the ship to be written and available the inspection copy with the employee with the respective of the OSHA personnel of the employee with the evacuate the employee where the danger if the emergency occurs that we do not permit any other employee to assist of the handle with the requirement except the requirement of the paragraph that provide the emergency action for the Title 29 CFR 1910 element of the emergency responsible plan with the employer shall develop the emergency response plan with the emergency shall address the minimum of the following to extent whether they are not addressed elsewhere. Pre-emergency planning with the coordinate with the outside of the parties, personal role, line with the authority, training, the communication, emergency recognition, the prevention, safety, distance, play for the refuge, side of the security control of the evacuation route, the procedure of the decontamination, emergency medical treatment, the first aid of the emergency alerting of the response, procedure criteria for the response of the follow up the personal protective emergency equipment, emergency for the response of the organization, make a local emergency response plan with the state emergency response plan with the board. That is part of the emergency response plan to avoid the duplication of the other side of the emergency response plan that are being properly adjusted of the superfunded amendment, the reauthorization act with the Title III with the substitute into their emergency plan with the otherwise put together the employer of the employee the procedure for handling emergency response with the senior emergency response with the official to respond to the emergency shall become the individual in charge of the site specifically into the commanding system for the all emergency to respond with their communication shall be coordinated with the control through individually in charge of the incident command system associated with the senior official present with each of the employer. No, paragraph Q3. One with the senior official of the emergency response with the senior official of the side of the other responsible for the control of the operation of the side of the initial senior official of the first due of the piece of the peer responding apparatus for the arrival of the incident of the most senior officer of the arrival of the alien chief of the fire chief of the state law enforcement officer side with the coordinator except the position based out of the line of authority that have been previously established. The individual in charge of the incident command system shall identify the strength of the popular has a substantive condition present in the shelter of the is appropriate type of the analysis review the engineer control maximum exposure to limited ash of the handling of the handling proceed for the use of the new technology based on the head of the substance condition present in the individual of the incident command system shall the implement the appropriate emergency operation of the professional of the protective equipment warns appropriate for the head of the encounter and how the position protective equipment shall meet the minimum of the criteria that contain the Title 29 CFR 1910-150-60 where will warn while the firefighting operation beyond the incipient stage of the incident. Employees engaged with the emergency response control of the hazard of the presence of the inhalation system of the inhalation have to wear positive pressure for the self-contained breathing apparatus that will engage the emergency responsibly until and such at the time the individual charge of the intermediate incident command system determines those use the air and monitoring with a decreased level of the respirator protection will not result in the head of the exposure for the employees. The individual in charge of the incident control system shall limit the number of emergency of the response person of the emergency side of the over the potentially actual exposure of the incident side of the hazard to which they actually actively performing the emergency operation. However, the operation they have to air shall be performed using the body system in the group of the two or more of the backup of the personnel should be the same of the equipment reading of the provide with the substance of the and the rescue of the advance of the first aid of the support personnel minimum shall also stand with the medical equipment transport capability. The individual in charge of the intermediate incident command system designated the safety official knowledge of the operation being implemented with the emergency response side with the specific responsibility to identify the value to have it provide direction with the response respect the safety of the operation emergency at hand. When activities are over the safety official with the immediate danger to life and health condition that involve the imminent danger condition, safety officials shall have the authority all the to terminate those activities. Safety officials shall inform the individual in charge of the intermediate incident command system any action needed to be taken with the correctly have in the emergency scene. After the emergency operation for the terminated individual in charge of the incident command system shall implement the appropriate decontamination process. When a team necessary for the meeting with the task at hand with approved the self-contained with the compressed air with the breathing apparatus maybe with the cylinder with the approved the self-contained compressed air breathing apparatus provided with the cylinder with the same capacity the pressure rating of the compressed air cylinder with the self-contained breathing apparatus shall be meet the U.S. Department of Transportation National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health criteria skill the supporting personnel with the not necessary with the employee with the own employee through their skill with the operation of the equipment that the analyzing earth moving or digging equipment, crane hoisting equipment that we are needed temporarily with the perform immediately emergency support with the work that they cannot reasonably perform in timely fashion. Any of the employer's own employees who will be or may be exposed to the hazard of the emergency response plan. See whether they're not required to meet with the training with the required paragraph with this employer's regular with the employee, but however their personnel shall be given an initial briefing and site prior the participation of the emergency response. The initial briefing shall be include the instruction of the wearing with the appropriate personal protective equipment, the chemical habit involved with the duty to perform all other appropriate safety health precautions provided with the employee's own employees shall be assured with the safety and health of their personnel. Alright, specialist employee with employees who with the core of the regular job of the duty where they are trained with the head of the substance they have substance they will be called upon with the provided technical assistance with the head of the substance relief of the instant individual job the receiver the training with the demonstrator with the commands of the aim in the air with which they are specialized in training shall be with the duty of function with the performance each of the response of the emergency response organization now with the level to require with the new response with the higher with the after effect of the day with the same with the convey with the training with the permit with the taking part of the actual emergency operation time with the incident employee with the participate expect with the participate emergency response shall be given the training According to the following paragraph, first responder with awareness level, the first responder awareness level of the individual is likely to witness for the discovery of the hazards of and relief of the way have been trained with the initiate emergency response sequence to notify the proper authority of the relief of the would take no further action beyond the notification of the authorities or relief of the first responder. Awareness level shall have the sufficient training with the habit of the position of the exposure with the directive demonstrate with the complexity of the following areas. An understanding of the what the hazard substances are, of the risk of the associated with the understanding of the potential of the outcomes associated with the emergency created with the head of the substance or present ability to recognize the presence of the hazard substance, the emergency, the ability to identify the hazard substance if possibly understand the role of the first responder, the awareness of the individual with the emergency response plan with including the site authority, control the U.S. Department of Transportation, emergency response guide with the ability to rely with the need of additional resources to make with the appropriate notification of the communication to the center. Our first responder operational level. The first responder operational level, the individual will respond with the relief of the potential relief of the hazard substance as part of the initial response with the side of the purpose of the protected nearby personal property, environment of the active of the relief, the training, the response, defense, action with the active training, the stop of the relief of the fire function with the relief of the distance, the prevent exposure to the first responder, the optional level to receive at least 8 hours of the training they have with the decision exposure. Having First member of the strength of the operational level shall have received at least 8 hours of the training they have sufficient experience to do objectively demonstrate the competency of the following areas in addition to the listed awareness level that the employer shall certify. No of the basic habit of the risk assessment technique of the select even the personal protective equipment to provide with the first responder operationally any of the understanding of the basic hazard materials know how to perform the basic control of the contamination and any other confinement operation capable of the resource of the personal protective equipment to be able to with your unit, know how to implement the basic decontamination procedure, the understanding of the relevance standard operation procedure, the determination procedure, the hazard material, the technician, the hazard material, the technician involved, the individual respond with the relief of the potential relief, the purpose of the stopping of the release of the assumed the more aggressive role within the first responder at the operational level of which they approved approach to the point of the relief in order to play with the patch, otherwise stop the relief that has something that has the material, the technique for the shall be received at least 24 hours of training equal to the first responder at the operational level. The addition will have the to be the following area the employer shall certify. Know how the implement the employer's emergency response plan over the classification, identification, verification of the known unknown material, the field, the surveying instruments and equipment to be able to function within the inside assigned role of the incident command system. Know how to select the the proper specialized chemical personal protective equipment to provide with the hazard. The understanding of the hazard risk and assessment technique to be able to perform in advance for the containment and confinement of the operation, the capability of the resource of the personal protective equipment, and be able to review it, understand and implement the decontamination procedure, understand the termination procedure, the understanding of the basic chemical, the toxicological terminology, behavior. Alright, hazard material specialists. Hazard material specialists are individuals who respond to the providers of the hazard material, the technique. With the technician with the duties of payroll of the hazard material, the technician they have the duties required the more direct with the specific down with the variable substance that may be coupled with the game of the hazard material specialist, but also the activist liaison with federal, state, local, other governmental authorities, and regardless of the type of activity, the hazard material specialist shall have received at least 24 hours of training of the equal to the technician level, the additional of the competency with the following area of the employer shall certify. Know how to implement the local emergency response plan, and understand the classification, identification, verification of the known unknown material that you the demand of the survey and instrument with the equipment to notify the shape of the emergency response plan. Be able to selectively use the proper specialized chemical personal with equipment provided with the habit of the material the specialist understand the depth of the hazard risk and then be able to perform specified control of the containment of the confinement of the operation of the capable of the resource of the personal with equipment to be able to determine and implement the decontamination process, have the ability to develop the site of the safety control plan and understand the chemical, radiological, toxicological terminology, behavior. 5. Unseen incident commander. The incident commander who will assume the control of the incident scene with the first responder awareness shall receive at least 24 hours of training equal to the first responder of the operational level of the district and have the competency of the following area with which the employer shall certify. Nobody able to implement the employer's incident the command system to know how to implement the employer with the emergency response plan. Nobody understand what they have the risk associated with the employer with working chemical protective clothing. Know how they implement the local emergency response plan. Know the save the emergency response plan with the federal response regional response team. No, but the understanding of the importance of the documentation, procedure, the training of the teeth, the any of the above the training subject with this affairs complete with the training of the course of teaching subject the aspect of the teeth such as the course of the U.S. National Fire Academy that shall have the training and academic and credential the instructional experience that necessary to demonstrate the company and instruction with the good command of the subject of the matter of the core of the area of the teach. Refresher training. Those are the employed with the training with the core of the area of the use section of the section shall receive the annual refresher training. Sufficient time for the duration, maintain with the competency, show the demonstration for the competency in those areas yearly. Statement shall be made with the training competency. The statement of the competency made with the employer shall be keep the record of the methodology with the determined damage for the competency. The medical surveillance of the consult with the members organized designated hazmat team with the head of the material of the special shall be received the baseline physical examination prior with the medical surveillance of the paragraph F of this section. Any of the emergency responsible employer shall exist in the assignment of the system may have the result of the exposure to the hazardous substance during the course of the emergency incident of the immediate the subsequent shall be provided with the medical consult required in paragraph F32 of this section. Chemical protective clothing. The chemical protective clothing will limit you to the organized designated staff team whether you the hazmat material specialist they'll meet with the requirements of paragraph G3 through 5 of the section. Post emergency response operation upon completion of the emergency response to determine the necessary to remove the hazardous substance the health of the hazardous material contained within them, so for the contaminated soil with other elements of the natural environment over the site of the instead of the employer with the contained with the cleanup shall comply with one of the following meet all the requirements of the paragraph B through O for the section. Where the claim of the done with the plant properly with the use of the plant with the working unplay with the employee shall be complete with the training of the requirements of the Title 29 CFR 1910-30 and 1910-134 and 1200 of the other safety of the health training period made with the necessary task of the exposure performed to the such for the personal protective equipment decontamination procedure. All the equipment used in performance of the cleaning up the work shall be suitable conditions shall have been inspected prior to use. And this shows the appendix to 119, 1910, 120 has the waste operation emergency response.